Today we're going to do something different. We're not only going to talk about the worst bikes you can buy this year, but also the best, because it's easy to criticize, but it's more useful to know what to buy. 5 motorcycles that I would never take to my garage even if they were given to me. And 5 that deserve every dollar they ask for. I've tested them, I've reviewed them, I've talked to owners and mechanics, and this is what I've discovered. Get ready because we'll go from a bad one to a good one alternately, so let's go. Position number 10. Bad. Yamaha MT09. The Yamaha MT09 is a bike that wins anyone over with its 3-cylinder engine and that spectacular sound from the exhaust. Each version has its charm. The first generation is classic. The second looks like it came out of a Transformers movie. The third was the one that sadly became famous for breaking the chassis. And the fourth is a robot with lights that looks like it's from the future. The bike overall is wonderful, but it has serious problems that dealers don't tell you about. The gear indicator fails constantly. You shift and it doesn't show anything or shows the wrong gear, and when you're going at high speed, the speedometer lies to you. You could be going 130 miles per hour, and you're actually going 118, a trick to get your hopes up. And the clutch also gives problems. The plates burn easily because the bike's torque is brutal, and if you really ride it as you should, the plates turn black in no time. The fuel injection also fails when the bike is very hot, or after using it in heavy traffic. It loses power and starts to misfire. Plus, it's a super stolen bike. Anyone who owns an MT09 doesn't live in peace because comprehensive insurance is super expensive. And if you want to buy a brand new 0-mile bike, get ready to wait up to a year on the waiting list while you pay over $10,000 for a bike that doesn't have the technology that other brands offer for half the price. Used market prices range from about $6,500 for the first generations to over $11,000 for the latest versions. And that's not counting that crashed units are cheaper, but come with their own problems. For this list of failures and the inflated price, the Yamaha MT09 earns position number 10 as one of the worst motorcycles to buy. Position number 9. Good. Bajaj Pulsar P150. If you're looking for an economical, reliable bike with good response, the Bajaj Pulsar P150 is one of the best options on the market. This Indian bike has shown over the years that it can go mile after mile without asking for anything more than basic maintenance. Its 149 cubic centimeter engine delivers around 14 horsepower, enough to move easily in the city and not be short on the open road. The best thing about this bike is the fuel consumption. You can easily get more than 95 miles per gallon if you ride sensibly, and maintenance is so cheap it hurts. Spare parts are available on any corner, and any neighborhood mechanic knows how to work on it. The design is modern without being flashy. With an LED headlight and a digital dash that gets the job done without fanfare. The riding position is comfortable, not too sporty nor too relaxed. Ideal for daily use. In the city, it moves like a fish in water, agile and light, and on the highway, it can maintain speeds of 68 miles per hour without breaking a sweat. The price is around $1,800 in most Latin countries, a bargain compared to other brands that offer less for more money. If you're one of those who use a bike daily to go to work, run errands, or just enjoy without spending a fortune on gas and maintenance, the Pulsar P150 is a smart purchase that won't let you down. That's why it takes position number 9 as one of the best value for money motorcycles on the market. Position number 8. Bad. Victory Venom 250. The Victory Venom 250 is one of those bikes that looks like a bargain on the outside. Italian design, disc brakes on both wheels, digital dash, LED lights, and a ridiculously low price of under $2,000 for a 250. But when you start looking closer, you realize why it's so cheap. The 249 cubic centimeter engine only delivers 20 horsepower, which is the same as a 200 or even a 180. So in performance, it falls very short for a 250. But the real problem isn't the lack of power, it's reliability. Owners constantly complain about electrical failures everywhere, warning lights that come on for no reason, the dash that turns off or goes crazy, the speedometer that stops working, and sensors that fail one after another. And the worst of all is that spare parts are nowhere to be found. If something breaks, you have to improvise or pray that some importer has the part you need. For under $2,000, it seems like a bargain, but when you add up the lost time at the shop, the parts you can't find, and the frustration of the bike always having some warning light on, you'll regret it. That's why the Victory Venom 250 earns position number 8 as one of the worst purchases you can make. And since we know you're enjoying this content right now, subscribe now. But wait, the most important part is still to come. Don't go yet, we'll continue. Position number 7. Good. TVS Raider 125. If there's one bike that delivery drivers and messengers know well, it's the TVS Raider 125. This little Indian bike isn't pretty, isn't fast, doesn't have cutting-edge technology, but it has one thing that's worth more than all that combined. It's indestructible. Its 124 cubic centimeter engine delivers barely 11 horsepower, enough to get around the city and little else. But what matters here isn't the power, it's reliability. This bike is designed to work, to roll mile after mile without complaining, to withstand daily abuse and keep starting every morning. Fuel consumption is ridiculously low. You can go weeks without seeing a gas station, and maintenance costs the same as a pizza. Spare parts are available even at the corner store, and any mechanic can fix it with their eyes closed. The riding position is upright and comfortable, the seat is wide, and the handlebars are in the right place. Its price is around $1,500 in most countries, a minimal investment for something that will last you years without headaches. If you're one of those who use a bike for work, to make deliveries, or just to get around without complications, the TVS Raider 125 is one of the best purchases you can make. That's why it takes position number 7 as one of the best small displacement motorcycles on the market. Position number 6. Bad. BMW R1300GS. The BMW R1300GS is the adventure bike everyone dreams of having. With that evolved boxer engine, more compact and with a spectacular sound, electronics full of sensors everywhere, and a much more youthful and sporty design than the previous version. But it turns out that so much new technology brings problems that shouldn't exist on a bike, costing over $25,000. The original panniers, which cost a fortune, are electric. They open and close by themselves, and they fail constantly, staying open, letting water in, or simply becoming misadjusted from taking them on and off. The engine noise is excessive for a touring bike. When you're traveling 6 or 7 hours straight, that noise stuns you and tires you out more than it should. The heated seats fail on some units, and if they don't come from the factory, installing them is a hassle because you have to know how to do it properly or they won't work. The foot pegs are very small. Owners with big feet complain that it's not comfortable for traveling and they have to replace them, spending more money. BMW recalled some units for engine problems. They say it was only 50, but users know it was many more. For $25,000 or more, a bike shouldn't have such basic failures. That's why the BMW R1300GS earns position number 6 as one of the worst purchases for those looking for a premium adventure bike. Position number 5. Good. Suzuki Gixxer 150. Suzuki has a reputation that needs no introduction, and the Gixxer 150 is proof that a small bike can be reliable, fun, and economical without sacrificing quality. Its 154 cubic centimeter engine delivers almost 15 horsepower, making it one of the most powerful 150s on the market. The throttle response is smooth and linear, perfect for learning, but with enough spark not to bore more experienced riders. The design is sporty but not exaggerated, with a well-proportioned tank and lines that age well. The riding position is a middle ground between the comfort of a naked and the aggression of a sport bike. Just what you need if you use the bike daily, but also want to have fun on weekends. Fuel consumption is around 95 miles per gallon, and maintenance is cheap, Because Suzuki spare parts are available everywhere. The best thing about the Gixxer 150 is that it has no known serious failures. There are no owners complaining about sensors failing or parts breaking after a few miles. It's a bike that simply works. It starts when it should start and takes you where you need to go without asking questions. Its price is around $2,500 depending on the country, a bit more expensive than the Indian bikes, but with the backing of a Japanese brand that has been in the market for decades. If you're looking for a 150 that will last you years without headaches, the Suzuki Gixxer 150 is one of the best options. That's why it takes position number 5 as one of the best motorcycles to buy. Position number 4, bad. CFMoto 300S AR. The CFMoto 300S R is a bike that captivates from the outside. Sporty design, flashy colors, that white version is beautiful. And if a woman rides it, even more so. It has a slipper clutch and a 5-inch TFT screen that is very nice. But as usual with Chinese bikes, beauty is only skin deep. The main problem is that it vibrates too much. From about 30 miles per hour, the handlebars start to vibrate, the mirrors move, the fairing trembles, and everything feels loose. The side stand sensor is another headache. When you're riding along, the sensor fails, and the bike shuts off as if you had put the stand down. And no matter how many times you put it up and down, the bike keeps shutting off. The dash also fails. It turns off for no reason, and then you don't know if you're in neutral or not. So you have to guess. The speedometer lies like on the MT09. You accelerate, and it stays at 0 or shows anything. And to top it off, the engine doesn't perform as it should. You'd expect more from a 300, but it's more what the spec sheet promises than what it delivers on the road. The mirrors come loose from the vibrations, and if you fold them to filter through traffic, the screw shaft gets damaged down into the fairing. The price of nearly $4,300 is too much for a Chinese 300. For that money, there are much better used Japanese options. CFMoto has brutal bikes like the 450 or the 675, but this 300 SR falls very short. That's why it earns position number 4 as one of the worst motorcycles to buy. Position number 3, good. Honda CB125F. When we talk about reliability, there's no debate. Honda is Honda, and the CB125F is proof that a small bike can be eternal. Its 124 cubic centimeter engine delivers 11 horsepower, nothing exciting, but enough to get around the city and secondary roads. What matters here is that this engine is designed to last decades. There are units that exceed 60,000 miles with just basic maintenance. Fuel consumption is laughable. You can get more than 140 miles per gallon if you ride calmly. And the tank of over 2.5 gallons gives you a range that seems unbelievable. The riding position is upright and comfortable. The seat is wide. And the bike is so light it feels like a bicycle with a motor. It doesn't have advanced technology. No TFT screen or connectivity, but it has something that no Chinese bike can offer. The peace of mind of knowing it will never leave you stranded. Honda spare parts are available everywhere, and any mechanic knows how to work on them. Its price is around $1,700 in most countries. A minimal investment for something that will last you years without giving you a single problem. If you're looking for a bike to learn on, to go to work, or just to have something that starts first time every time, the Honda CB125F is one of the best purchases you can make. That's why it takes position number 3 as one of the best small displacement motorcycles on the market. Position number 2, bad. Benelli TNT 150. The Benelli TNT 150 is a bike that, for the price and equipment, seems like a bargain. Inverted suspension on a 150, disc brakes, digital dash, and a design that catches your attention. But the problems start from the first mile. The MAP or TPS sensor is the Achilles heel of this bike. All units come with a factory failure, and even if you replace it, the new one also fails because the problem is original. Owners constantly complain about oil leaks in the cylinder head and also in the radiator, fluid stains on the garage floor that force you to check the level every 5 minutes. The bike loses power for no reason. You're riding along, and suddenly you feel it run out of strength, as if it's lacking air or fuel. And to top it off, electrical failures are an everyday occurrence. Sensors that stop working, warning lights that come on for no reason, and a dash that sometimes does what it wants. The worst of all isn't the failures themselves, because any bike can fail. The problem is that Benelli spare parts are hard to find, and if you can't get the part you need, the bike sits idle for weeks or months. For under $2,000, it seems like a good purchase, but when you start adding up trips to the shop, lost time, and the frustration of the bike never being quite right, you'll regret it. A Benelli TNT 150 isn't a motorcycle, it's an endless project. That's why it earns position number 2 as one of the worst motorcycles you can buy. You wouldn't want it even as a gift. Position number 1, good. Yamaha FZ 3.0, the Naked. And we've reached position number 1, the best bike on this list and the one I most recommend if you're looking for reliability, fuel economy, and durability without paying a fortune. The Yamaha FZ 3.0 is the evolution of a lineage that has been on the market for years, proving that you can make an economical naked bike without it being junk. Its 149 cubic centimeter engine delivers about 12 horsepower, enough for city and highway without falling short. What makes this bike special is that it has no known serious failures. Owners report high mileages with no more problems than normal maintenance. Fuel consumption is excellent. You can easily get 105 miles per gallon, and the 3.2-gallon tank gives you a range that lets you forget about gas stations for weeks. The design is modern without being flashy, with an LED headlight that illuminates well and a digital dash that has just what's needed without screens that can break. The riding position is comfortable, not too sporty nor too relaxed, ideal for daily use. The seat is wide, and the suspension is well calibrated for urban use. Yamaha spare parts are available everywhere, and maintenance is economical. Its price is around $2,200, a reasonable investment for a bike that will last you years without headaches. If you're looking for a naked bike for daily use that starts first time every time, won't leave you stranded, and won't break the bank on maintenance, the Yamaha FZ 3.0 is the best option. That's why it takes position number 1 as the best motorcycle to buy. There you have them, 10 motorcycles, the best and the worst, so you know exactly where to put your money. Now tell me in the comments, which of these bikes have you owned, or which one do you think is missing from this list? If this video helped you, share it with that friend who's thinking about buying a bike and doesn't know where to start. See you in the next one.